scope on error continue and on error propagate. Suppose mule event processor throw error in a flow. Mule event on error continue, receive error, execute the processor and give a success as a output 200 code. In case of on error propagate, it receive error, execute the processor and give output as a error 500 code.
Can you tell me how the name of connectors that you have used?
HTTP request connector, mail connector, file connector, Java connector, JSM connector.
What is file connector?
File connector is used to connect with file, read and write data.
Have you used database connector?
Yes, ma'am. Database connector Mulesoft used to connect with the database to get data like MySQL.
Can you tell me how do you configure this MySQL database connector?
Sorry, right now I can't recall it.
Can you tell me the name of some routers?
A choice router, a scatter gather router, API kit router.
And what is the use of choice router?
Choice router used to send message to each route dramatically based on the true condition. We write condition in when any of the route get fail, it will go from default route, otherwise it will go from first route.
Can you name some scope?
Yes, ma'am. Try scope, on error continue scope, on error propagate scope, for each scope, parallel for each scope, cache scope, until successful scope, async scope, batch job scope, batch step scope.
What is the use of async scope?
Sorry, ma'am?
Use of async scope?
Async scope is a branch block processing scope which process message parallelly with the main flow. Main flow doesn't have to stop until async block will complete task. We use async scope because of time consuming data, because it doesn't require to send response to the flow. If error occur in async scope, we use try scope with on error continue.
And can you tell me the difference between for each batch job?
Yes, for each process a small amount of data or record, whereas batch job process large amount of large volume of record and data. For each work on single thread, a batch job work on multi-thread. For each process record sequentially, batch job process record randomly. And if error occur in for each scope, it stop the processing of remaining record, whereas in batch job it complete the processing. We prefer to use batch job instead of for each scope due to multi-thread availability in.
One thing also add, for each scope, process message parallelly or in sequential manner, and it has only one thread. It is synchronous in nature. Whereas
Yes,
batch job is asynchronous in nature. Okay, you can add this point also. You can note this point, and from the next day onwards, you also add this point. For each is synchronous and batch job is asynchronous.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you explain what is RAML?
RAML stand for RESTful, RAML stand for RESTful API modeling language. It define how API will behave and communicate with other system or API.
And what is horizontal scaling and vertical scaling?
Increasing and scaling worker is called horizontal scaling, and increasing and scaling worker size is called vertical scaling.
What is API-led connectivity?
API-led connectivity is an architectural approach designed and suggested by Mulesoft, and it break Mule application into API, and further it categorize into layers named as experience layer, process layer, and system layer. In experience layer, where it is connected with the UI, we create experience API, and process layer, we create process API, we do transformation, enrichment, and we call various API call. We do various API call. And third one is system layer. It is in system API, we create system API, and it is underlying connected with a storage system. And so we get data from and fetch data from that.
And what is GitHub?
GitHub is a source management resource code management tool, and
Source code
we
management tool,
keep repository
SCM.
file.
It is an SCM.
Sorry, source code management tool.
Okay. Can you tell me the command to clone the code in your local computer?
Git clone repository of file URL.
And what is the code to commit?
Git commit -m, and is in string the message we want to put.
Okay. And can you tell me some DataWeave functions?
Yes, ma'am. Map function, map object function, order by, group by, distinct by, join by, split by, flatten function, filter function, now function, is even, is odd, lookup function.
Map and map object.
A map input is a array, and output is also array. It iterates over item, whereas map object input is object and its output is also object. It iterates over key value pair.
What is reduce function?
A reduce function is used to accumulate the item in an array.
What is how do you call a private flow in DataWeave?
With the help of a lookup function, we can call private flow. The DataWeave code would be lookup private flow name, comma, payload, comma, time in millisecond.
And what is the use of now function?
Now function is used to see the current time value.
And what is the use of split by function?
Sorry, ma'am.
Split by function.
A split by function is used to separate split item in a string.
Split by payload is what? Payload type for split by
Strings.
and output.
Output is a array.
So yeah, Nida.
Yes. And what is the use of join by?
Join function is used to join item in a array.
Okay. And okay, I'm done from my side. Any question?
No, thank you.
Hello, Amit.
Hello.
Start with your introduction.
First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Mohammad Amir Khan, and I have completed my BTech specialization in computer science from India Institute of Technology in 2020. And I have around 3.2 years of experience in IT, and relevant experience is around 3 years. Currently, I'm working with Unified Softech as a Mulesoft developer. Yeah, that's all about me.
So, what do you know about Anypoint platform?
Anypoint platform is a Mulesoft unified platform for developing, deploying, and managing APIs specification.
And where do you design your application?
In Design Center, I have designed my application.
And what is RAML?
RAML is a skeleton in which we define how the API will behave and how it will communicate with other system and APIs.
Okay. And where do you publish your application?
We have published. We can publish our application in Exchange, Anypoint Exchange.
And where do you deploy your application?
I have deployed my application on Runtime Manager.
And what is horizontal scaling and vertical scaling?
Vertical scaling is to increase the worker size is called vertical scaling, and to increase the worker is called horizontal scaling.
Okay. What is the meaning of worker?
Worker is a dedicated instances to runtime manager and deployed Mule application.
And can you explain what is API-led connectivity?
API-led connectivity, it is an architectural approach suggested by Mulesoft, in which enterprise Mule application should be into three layers, named as experience layer, process layer, and system layer. In experience layer, we create experience API where we directly connected with the UI and get data from UI. And in process layer, we create process API where we do transformation like setting of data enrichment and to call various APIs. In system layer, we create system APIs where we are directly connected with the underlying storage system to send and fetch data.
Okay. And can you explain what is GitHub?
GitHub is a source code management tool where we create our repository and manages source code.
And where do you keep your Mule project?
Okay. Can you repeat it?
Where do you keep your new project?
In this- so
In the repository.
in a repository. Yeah.
Can you tell me the command to clone the code in your local computer?
Okay. So the command is git clone repository URL.
Okay. And what is the command to change the branch?
Yeah. So using git checkout branch name, we can change the command.
How to commit the code?
We can change the branch. Using git commit -m and under string we can say message to commit the root.
And can you tell me name of some connectors that you use in your Android Studio?
Yeah, mostly we use HTTP request connector, file connector, mail connector, and JMS connector, web service consume connector, and database connector, Salesforce connector, object store connector.
And what is database connector?
Database connector we use to connect with database server to run to fetch data and do all kind of things like run the query and all.
And can you tell me? Can I ask some queries in database?
Yeah. Okay.
So can you tell me how do you read the records? How many tables?
Using create table name.
How can you read? Can you tell me the command?
Sorry, I can't recall it.
Suppose you have a table called city. You have to read the records. You just have to see the records. So what will you write?
This we can run the command like show table name.
Select star from city. You will simply write that.
Okay.
Okay, leave this. I will ask it someday later when you are perfectly sure. Okay, can you explain some scopes that you use in Studio?
Yeah, mostly we use try scope, for each scope and parallel for each until successful. On error continue, on error propagate, error handler, batch job, batch aggregator, batch step, and cache scope. Yeah.
And what is the use of Async scope?
Sorry, I can't hear properly. Can you repeat?
What is the use of Async scope?
Oh, okay. Async scope is a branch processing block. It is a branch processing block that execute simultaneously with the main flow, and main flow doesn't pause until async scope will stop processing.
And what is the use of batch job?
Batch job is a batch job in Mulesoft is used for large number of to processing large number of records, because batch job contains by default 16 threads, so it can process millions of records in minimum time. And we can use batch jobs like following scenarios, like migration of large number of records from one system to another system, and to ETL kind of work, and to process large number of messages. And batch job has three phases: a load and dispatch phase, and to process record phase, and on complete phase. In the load and dispatch phase, it breaks payload into records and load it into queue, and dispatch it for a batch step. And in processing record phase, each batch step will pick records from queue and start processing, and then send back to the records into queue. So that next batch step will start processing. And in on complete phase, it generates statistical reports in which it defines how many records get filled, and how many records get proceed, and how many records get succeed.
Can you tell me the life of variables in that job?
The variable life of variables inside only inside of batch job. Or outside of batch job, we can't get the result of a variable.
Okay. And what is the caching?
Caching is the process of storing frequently used data in memory, and in Mulesoft we have cache scope to use this strategy.
And what is the advantage?
Advantages is availability and no time delay. It improves the Mule application performance.
And what is until successful?
And what? Hello?
Until successful scope?
Okay. Until successful scope, we use for retry mechanism, and suppose when we need to connect with the unreliable and unstable server system from where fetching data is essential.
Can you name some DataWeave functions?
Yeah, mostly we use flatten, filter, map object. We use order by, distinct by, join by, group by, is even, is odd, mean, max, and now function. Yeah.
What is the difference between map and map object?
Map function always take input as an array, and output is also array, and it iterates over items in array. While map object takes input as an object, and the output is also object, and it iterates over key value pairs in object.
Okay. How do you call a private flow in database?
Using lookup function, we can call private flow in database.
What is nested map?
Nested map is when we use two times of map function in a single code, then we can call it nested map.
How do you write multiple conditions in database?
Using a composite condition, we can write multiple conditions in database, like and or.
And name a function whose input is an object and output is an array.
Yeah, there is a plug function which take input as an object and its output as an array.
And can you name a function whose input is an array and output is an object?
Yeah, there is a group by function, which is which takes input as an array and output is the object.
Can you tell me what is the use of group by function?
Group by function is used to make group of items having common values properties.
Okay, fine. I think I'm done from my side. Any question?
No, thank you so much.
हाँ निदा, हेलो।
हेलो।
हाँ,
यस सर।
कोई दिख तो नहीं रहा है, चैट तो
जी।
कर दिए हैं, कोई भी बहुत दिक्कत है, कोई कनेक्ट ही नहीं रहता, एक दो सीरियस रहता है, बाकी सब के लिए। क्या करें, सेशन एंड करें?
सर देख लेते हैं, 5 मिनट तक वेट करते हैं, अगर नहीं आता है तो एंड
ठीक,
कर देते हैं।
ठीक।
हेलो।
हाँ,
सर ये बिग डेटा वाले का नुका लेना है कि नहीं?
तो एक मैसेज किए न विमल को, वैसे तो हम बोले थे कि मौका है, देना है, मैसेज करते हैं।